Well, good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. I trust that you are well this glorious Thursday morning. It is December 1st. December 1st. Wow. Yeah, it happens. It's just time keeps on ticking, ticking, ticking into the future. I hope you're ready for a fun show today. We got some stories that'll make you go, what the heck? Yes, because that's what we are, folks. We are in the what the heck is going on world, in politics and in culture. That's where we are. All right, so we'll take a little break. We're back with more of the Morning Report right after these messages. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the program. Again, this is a Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. It's one of those what the heck is going on moments. Yes, the left is still in some sort of weird disbelief that Elon Musk is now in charge of their little safe space, that is called Twitter, and they just can't handle it, which is weird. So there is a website, Twitter, that has an owner and doesn't belong to them, doesn't belong to Tim Pool, doesn't belong to Alyssa Milano, doesn't belong to Rob Reiner, doesn't belong to Danny DeVito, doesn't belong to Ben Shapiro, doesn't belong to me. It now belongs to Elon Musk and the shareholders of Twitter. It always belonged to the shareholders and the whatever, but it never belonged to any of us. No, that didn't belong to us. We might have been users of that particular website, that particular app, but it never really belonged to us ever. So the consternation on who owns it is stupid. And all this is stupid as heck. But it just gets stupider because there's another shocking development regarding the story of liberals and suffering trauma, literally trauma over Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. And by surprising, I mean that it was comically predictable. Of course, Hollywood actress Alyssa Milano. Oh my God, this chick, who was recently roasted for her virtue signaling about turning in her Tesla to protest Musk's acquisition of the social media platform. Now, she was so busy virtue signaling about the environment and and emissions that she went out and bought a car, a Tesla, which is super fast, super cool, except that it's got that big nasty battery that a lot of the materials used in that are mined by hand by African children. But she's okay with it because it looks cool and it's the way to virtue signal about global climate change, right? But she was okay. But here's what she does. She's so upset that Musk is now the owner of Twitter. She turned in, she gave up, gave away. I don't know what turned in means. Was she leasing it and turned to lease that? I'm not sure what that even means. So someone would have to explain that to me. Alyssa, if you're watching the show, okay, you're not watching the show. Anyway, if somebody knows Alyssa who's watching the show, nobody knows Alyssa who's watching the show. I'd like to know what you mean by turned in your Tesla. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, yummy. And she got a because of he's terrible, he's a fascist, whatever, and he let Trump back onto her little safe space. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't really get the left's weirdness about Elon Musk and Twitter. I just don't. Um, so what she turned in her Tesla, and she got a Volkswagen electric vehicle. Volkswagen, a company started by Adolf Hitler. The Volkswagen, a fascist, a Nazi, a real fascist, a real Nazi, Adolf Hitler. And she went and replaced the Tesla with a Volkswagen. Is she? Yes. Stupid? Most definitely. Uneducated? Outrageously so. Clueless? Amazingly clueless. Thunderously clueless. So listen, public traded companies' products being pushed in alignment with hate and white supremacy doesn't seem to be a winning business model, she tweeted. She quickly got a history lesson about who got Volkswagen off the ground. The Nazis. Here's her tweet. I gave back my Tesla. I bought a VW EV. I love it. You can hear that coming out of her face, right? I'm not sure how advertisers can buy space on Twitter. Publicly traded companies' products being pushed in alignment with hate and white supremacy doesn't seem to be a winning business model. Apparently it is, because you, stupid woman here, bought a Volkswagen. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I believe, is the weirder of the weird things. Actress Alyssa Milano said Tuesday, she was on The View, enough said, that she would remain on Twitter. I'm not leaving like it's yours. You're leaving if you get kicked off. No, you're probably not going to. That's the whole point, Alyssa. That's the whole point, Alyssa. You're not going to get kicked off. And you're going to get to say whatever you want to say. That's the point, other than the one on top of your head. Because you didn't want to cede that territory. First of all, it's not your territory. It's not yours. It's not yours to start with. But the ability to stay on that website, to stay on that app, to stay on that platform, that's the point. And you should be able to stay, and so should Ben Shapiro, and so should Jordan Peterson, and so should Zuby, and so should BuzzFeed, and so should Rob Reiner, as much as Rob Reiner annoys the living out of me, and so should Rob Reiner. And don't you get this? Is this too hard? Is this too hard for you? Is this really too hard for you, Alyssa? Funny, you don't look that dumb. Anyway, Alyssa said that you didn't want to see that territory. Co-host Sonny Houston, who should just get off The View, but anyway, asked Alyssa Milano about Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter and if the celebrity would stay on the social media platform. We can't see that territory. It's like turf war. No, turf war is areas that you own. That's how I look at it. If we're not representing our side of the political discourse, aren't we just saying, you know what, you can have Twitter? Yeah, you've always been able to. The thing is that if you talking about sides of political discourse, Twitter has been guilty of having only one side of the political discourse. So you've had free reign on Twitter for years, sweet pea. So when liberals lose, they throw tantrums, but eventually deal with the reality of the situation. Twitter no longer offers protections and special privileges to the select liberal elite anymore. Sorry, sweet pea. Um, which bothers them because these are people who like to have their stuff. They enjoy the special privileges, they enjoy the special treatment, and they expect it because they are actresses or actors or whatever, producers, directors. It's the Hollywood type. I say this in my house almost once a day. These are the people who were in theater in high school, the weird kids who were in theater in high school. And now, I mean, they were on the outside, but now they have money. And it's the money that has brought them and their fame that's brought them back to where they think they're on the inside. They're not. They are still the weird high school kid with all sorts of ridiculous insecurities. But they've learned that there are some people, most people who are just like them, that if they talk, someone will listen to. If they say, wear this perfume, other people will wear that perfume, or wear this ring, other people will wear that ring, or headband, or dress, or shirt, or whatever. Other people will do it because there are weak people just like them out there who are looking desperately to fit in. Desperately. Conservatives kind of have an avenue to disrupt the dissemination of false narrative that left wingers manufacture with extraordinary care and lethal efficiency. It is this, in the same vein as all the liberals and Hollywood actors who said they would move if a Republican won a presidential election. They were all out of here, right? This one, Whoopi Goldberg, um, Joy Behar, they were all going to move to Canada. Rosie O'Donnell, they were all moving to Canada. Did they get a note from the Canadians saying, don't move here, we don't want you? But strangely enough, nobody went anywhere. All the people who are leaving the Twitter platform, I probably only know one person who's really gone, and it's my friend Elizabeth Blackney. And she has a problem with Tesla and the materials that are used to build a battery because she has done some really good work in Africa. I get that. But I think that, maybe Elizabeth and I don't agree on a lot of stuff politically anymore. But what I know about her is that she is a trustworthy person, and she does have a heart for the people on the continent of Africa who dig in these mines. So she's probably the only one I know who's actually gone and not on Twitter. These people, virtue signaling. These people, BS. All right, we're back with more of the program right after these messages.
Well, hey everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet. And you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices. And you'd be right, they most certainly are. Um, but you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those one of those places is freedomforum.website. Freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or phone number. My florist is Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com, and you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Trust that you are well today. Enjoying a delicious cup of coffee. It's a little early for me, but we got lots of work to do today. It's getting close to Christmas. Oh, oh, oh. In any case, in the oh my God, really category that we were exploring today, a court of appeals has ruled against the Biden administration, surprise, surprise, their request to reinstate the student loan bailout. Now, the student loan bailout is a central piece, I think, a central piece of their plan to win elections, because frankly, a lot of people are dealing with student debt, and that was the whole purpose to start with, is to take over that program and control who got money and how much money they got. And at that point, then they can decide who went to school, who didn't go to school, and if they had control over your debt, then they could push you around, with your vote. This is exactly what happens. Now, if we say that 30 years ago, people look at you like, you're a conspiratorialist when you're just being a prophet, really. Um, but the Biden administration has tried to implement some out of the way nonsense about giving people money to help them out of their student loan debt. So on Wednesday, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit rejected President Joe Biden's $400 billion student loan forgiveness program, which he appealed following the judge's ruling to put it on pause. This is the latest setback for Biden's hefty plan. They want to be able to, and right now, you're probably okay with this, right, Joe? Because if you can push this into the election, is something they can use. They have been holding this carrot out in front of people who owe a ridiculous amount of money for student debt for quite a while now. This comes after the federal government's request to temporarily reverse a lower court order that blocked the rollout of the plan. The plan will stay paused while the administration appeals on an order from a Texas judge that declared the debt relief proposal unlawful after a 3-judge panel in New Orleans ruled against the program. It's been ruled against again and again. In response, the Biden administration has already extended the student loan debt payment until June 30th, 2023, which they can do. They can just keep, frankly, they can just keep extending it until forever. Now, if you owe $250,000 on your women's studies degree from Vassar, and you are currently working as a barista, coffee maker at Starbucks, that's super good news for you. That is very, very good news for you. But the people that actually are, holding the bag for that money, who are actually holding the bag for that money through treasury notes or whatever other vehicles, that's not good news for them. It's bad news for them because they need their money. They're not getting paid. Because you're not paying, they're not getting paid. The lawsuit, which was filed by Job Creators Network, vowed to continue to fight against Biden's multi-billion-dollar plan that is fueling the country's recession. The Fifth Circuit correctly rejected the Biden's administration attempt to reinstate the student loan bailout pending appeal. Elaine Parker, president of JCN, said that adding despite the administration being unlikely to prevail on the merits of this case, it also hoped to allow the program to move forward so it could get money out the door to debtors and claim victory. Again, there are people who, people just want their money. People just want money. And this idea, think about this, the idea that you borrow money to go to school, not a bad idea. The idea that you don't understand what return on investment means, and you feel that somehow you shouldn't have to pay that money back, that's problematical. The Fifth Circuit's ruling today prevents this scenario from occurring and preserves the opportunity for real solutions to the underlying student debt problem. The real problem is, why in the hell is college so expensive? Why is university so expensive? Why should you have to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans to pay for school? Why? Why does it cost so much? Does it have to cost that much? That's the root cause. Now, of course, because you're talking about teachers, lowering the cost of university, it hurts teachers, and these teachers are dedicated, and so on and so forth and forever. The idea is that why does it cost so much? Why is a semester hour of a freshman English class $300? Why? What are you getting for your money for ENC 1101, which is freshman English here in Florida, taught at Florida State, University of Florida? Hillsborough Community College. Why is it that much money? What are you getting for your money? That's the real problem. Where's this money going? And you can't solve any of this, none of it, until you address that, which this guy is not interested in doing. This guy is what he wants to do is sort of use the student loan forgiveness nonsense to win votes. And the people who are trying to get out from under, first of all, they know that and they don't care. That's what we have to understand. The people who are trying to get out from under this, this massive wall of debt that they've accumulated, understand that they're being used for their votes, but they don't care. It's like the Bill Withers song. You just keep on using me until you use me up. The line of, if it feels this good getting used, you just keep on using me until you use me up. They know they're being used. They know that. And I think that sometimes people on the right they underestimate other people, and they think everybody's stupid, and nobody's stupid. They know. They just want to get out from under the debt. They like their free stuff. These are the people who want college to be free to start with. I'll be honest with you. I'd be more likely to have free college than to release people from this debt, or to have it cost as much as it costs. So if I had to choose, have it cost what it costs or have it be free, I'd choose have it be free. Have it be an extension of the of the state school system, of the same system that they run their high schools with. I'd be in favor of that over forgiving hundreds of $1,000s of debt that people took on, because at least the other way is honest. And then maybe you pay for grad school. It's a discussion that we have to have. So here in the comments on YouTube and on Rumble, let's have that discussion. All right, when you get a little break, we'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. What do you say, Joe? So is it okay now, because it was, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's
yeah. We talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy's mental health.
The president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president, or were you five?
You see, what I want. See, the next question is, excuse me,
I was told to call on what you call it for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
Welcome back. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Those of you who are watching the video, you probably don't know who this guy is. I'm going to tell you who he is. House Democrats have chosen Representative Hakeem Jeffries to follow Nancy Pelosi and leading Democrats in the next Congress as minority leader. Jeffries, a 52-year-old New York Democrat, is a member of the House Judiciary Committee and the House Budget Committee, as well as chairman of House Democrat Caucus. I won't say Democratic because there's nothing democratic about the Democrats. He is avidly anti-former Trump, Donald Trump. He's a Donald Trump hater for sure, because he's supposed to be. He doesn't know why, but he's supposed to be. But that's okay. He's also painted Republicans as extreme MAGA Republicans who wish to criminalize abortion and end Social Security and undermine democracy. And he's repeatedly, oh, hang on. This is who these people are. Undermine democracy. We've talked about words, and today we're going to talk about those words. We're going to talk about democracy and how it's been used, misused on purpose. But anyway, excuse me. And is a something that I thought that it was bad to be, an election denier, because we're all supposed to believe that no matter how vehemently we disagree with one another, that all our elections are above board. All the elections are fine. Now, I am, and I mentioned this in the video, I don't think that Republicans can go around forever saying every election they lose is fixed. I don't think that that's the way forward. But I don't think you can go around thinking that every election is on the up and up either. Akeem Jeffries believes that the 2016 election was illegitimate. Akeem Jeffries is an election denier. He's repeatedly questioned the results of the 2016 election. He said he's humbled to be elected incoming House Democrat leader on Wednesday in a Twitter post, ready to get to work. Get to work doing what? Anyway, conservative groups pointed out that Jeffries has repeatedly questioned the results of the 2016 election, claiming it was illegitimate. America deserves to know whether we have a fake president in the Oval Office, he tweeted in 2018. He tweeted, this fella here, who is now the head of the he's a minority leader in the House, said that we need to know if we have a fake president in the Oval Office. He tweeted that in 2018, 2 years after the election. But I thought being an election denier threatened democracy, that threatened our democracy. It apparently doesn't. As long as you're an election denier on the left. For a long time, California Democrat Nancy Pelosi has announced, she announced on November 17th that she would not seek re-election to the Democrat leadership in the next Congress, saying, for me, the hour has come for a new generation to lead the Democrat caucus that I so deeply respect. And I need to go home and see what the hell Paul's up to. Well, she does. Her 80-some-odd-year-old husband is doing whatever the hell he's doing. Not good, though. And eventually, the truth about their financial dealings is going to fall out because her husband's freaking out of control, and she knows her husband's out of control. She says he says there's no greater honor, special honor for me to stand on this floor to speak to the people of San Francisco, she added. This I will continue to do as a member of the House, speaking for the people of San Francisco, serving the great state of California, and defending our Constitution. Not really. Pelosi was the first woman to control the House of Representatives. Under her leadership, Democrats have pushed some of the most radical legislation the United States has ever seen, including the Women's Health Protection Act and the Respect for Marriage Act, which has no respect for marriage at all, especially what marriage actually is. The headline in the article has been corrected to reflect this new. Okay, anyway, there you go. Now, I know you're asking me, why do you think that they picked this dude? They picked this dude because what they know is that the House is going to be run by Republicans, and all this person can do is scream and yell racism. That's it. It's the only tool he's got in his bag, because he doesn't have the numbers. He does not have the numbers, and they're going to get run slap over. If you're going to see gridlock, you're going to see gridlock in the House of Representatives, which is fine. It's fine. That's where you're going to see it. And this guy's going to scream racism. You remember in 2008, I told you about Barack Obama? Anybody who opposes Barack Obama? Remember I told you that? Remember? This guy's going to run for president. Hakeem Jeffries is going to run for president, because he fought the hard fight against the racists and the bigots and the homophobes and the xenophobes and the flippophobes and whatever the hell they make up. Transophobes, transformerophobes. They're going to run this guy for president. Sort of got that Barack Obama vibe. Now, write that down. Write that down. December 1st, 2022. 2024, this guy will be running for president, because Joe Biden's not going to run, because he'll be 1,000 years old. They're going to have to carbon date Joe Biden to see how old he is. Now, he may run with Kamala Harris, Kamala, doesn't matter, as this sort of weird dream team, maybe. And the lack of support they get will be called racism. Write this down. Now, where did I find this story? I found this story at the Swanson Report, the Swanson Report.locals.com, the Swanson Report. Go to the put in the Swanson Report in Google or DuckDuckGo. Spend $5 a month, get all this sort of content. All the, Paul is pulling together a lot of stuff that you're just not being shown everywhere. It's not being talked about everywhere. And the duplicity of the left is here on full display. All right, we'll be back. I want to talk about words right after these messages. All right. Again, welcome to the program. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Listen, I have been meaning to talk about this for a while, and I think that it needs to be talked about, not just here, but it needs to be talked about often and everywhere. The left uses the phrase democracy, save our democracy, and and these kind of things. And they use and the leftists uses words intentionally to change the meaning of those words, um, make the words less potent or more potent than they really are. That's why everything's racist, and if everything's racist, then nothing's racist, right? So what's racist and Islamophobic is that the United States men's soccer team should have let the Iranian soccer team win. Now, I know that was an article that was tongue in cheek by my friend Jeff Charles, but there was a mentality out there on Twitter that was saying just that. He just kind of took it to the next level, which was hysterically funny, by the way. But so follow Jeff Charles on Twitter. So it was racist and it was Islamophobic. They use these words as if they matter. Any of the words that end in phobic, homophobic means that I'm afraid of you, that I have this irrational fear. If I disagree with you, I have an irrational fear of you. That doesn't make any sense. You're right. And they continue to use words like democracy. Like so-and-so is a threat to our democracy. We do not have a democracy form of government in the United States. You didn't learn that. We don't. And if you do a word search of either of our important documents, the Constitution, most importantly, and the Declaration of Independence, neither of them mentions democracy. Neither of them. Here's a quote that I just now posted on my Facebook page. How often do we hear the claim that our nation is a democracy? Was a democratic form of government the vision of our founders? As it turns out, the word democracy appears nowhere in the two most fundamental documents of our nation, the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution. Instead of democracy, the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, declares the United States shall guarantee every state in the Union a republican form of government. Our pledge of allegiance to the flag is not to democracy for which it stands, but to the republic for which it stands. Is the song that emerged during the War of 1861 the battle hymn of the democracy? No, it's the battle hymn of the republic. So what's the difference? Because what the left will say is, tomato, tomato. Not at all. Not even a little bit. So what's the difference between Republican and Democratic form of government? John Adams captured the essence of the difference when he said this: you have rights antecedent to all earthly governments. That means that you have rights before any of the earthly governments. Rights that cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws. Rights derived from the great legislator of the universe. Nothing in our Constitution suggests that government is a grantor of rights. Instead, government is envisioned as a protector of rights. Are people being taught this? Are people being taught this? Are people being told this? In recognition that it's the government that poses the gravest threat to our liberties. The framers used negative phrases in reference to Congress throughout the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, such as shall not abridge, infringe, deny, discourage, shall not be violated nor be denied. In a Republican form of government, there is rule of law. All citizens, including government officials and their kids, are accountable to the same laws. Government power is limited and decentralized through a system of checks and balances. Government intervenes in civil society to protect its citizens against force and fraud, but does not intervene in cases of peaceable, voluntary exchange. Contrast the framers' vision of a republic with that of a democracy. According to Webster's dictionary, a democracy is defined as government by the people, especially rule of the majority. In a democracy, the majority rules either directly or through elected representatives. As in a monarchy, the law is whatever the government determines it to be. Laws do not represent reason. They represent power. The restraint is upon the individual instead of the government. Unlike the rights envisioned under a Republican form of government, rights in a democracy are seen as privileges and permissions that are granted by government that can be rescinded by government. So there is a considerable difference that demonstrates the disdain held by our founders for democracy. James Madison, in the Federalist Number 10, said that in a pure democracy, there is nothing to check the inducement to sacrifice the weaker party or the obnoxious individual. In the 1787 Constitutional Convention, Edmund Randolph said, in that tracing these evils to their origin, every man has found it in the turbulence and follies of democracy. John Adams said, remember, democracies never last long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There never was a democracy yet that did not commit suicide. Later on, Chief Justice John Marshall observed, between a balanced republic and a democracy, the difference is like that between order and chaos. In a word or two, the founders knew that democracy would lead to the same kind of tyranny the colonies suffered under King George III. Do not let, don't just pass it off. When someone says we have a democracy, then no, we don't. We do not. We do not. We have a Republican form of government. And I think that there are a number of Republicans who don't get this either, who don't understand this. We do not have a democracy. We are not a democracy. I love this, that every democracy eventually commits suicide. Do you think that we're close to that? Small rule. Do you think that here in America, here in the United States, that the democracy is ready to murder itself? You bet your sweet bippy it is. So when you hear the word, correct them. Raise your hand politely and say, we do not have a democratic form of government. The word democracy is not anywhere in our founding documents, except that the states are guaranteed a Republican form of government, which is not a democracy. It's not tomato, tomato. It's tomato, hand grenade. Very different things. My name is Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye.